If you are looking for your next summer read, look no further. Daniel Silva, the award-winning, best-selling author of 27 novels, including his series featuring legendary art restorer and spy Gabriel Allon. Now, Allon is back in Silva's new thriller called An Inside Job. It's a story about the Vatican, stolen treasure, and murder. And we're so happy Daniel Silva joins us this morning.
I'm so excited to be here. Your colleague gave me a pep talk backstage.
Gayle, I gave you a little pep talk. You don't need a pep talk.
I had a great show, and that was not to blank it up.
No, you don't need a pep talk.
I didn't say that, Daniel.
Because why would he need, you don't need a pep talk because this is the 25th.
No, he doesn't need a pep talk because Vlad has read all of your
I've read all 24 Gabriel Allon
Yeah.
books.
Yes.
You're one of my favorite authors. And the question, though, that I have is, even though the fans want to see more of Gabriel, what keeps you coming back to this character?
Oh, he is a joy to work with. Okay, he's charming, he's intelligent, he's brilliant. And the best thing about him is that he has two distinct sides to his character. He is truly one of the world's finest art restorers, but he also has this background in intelligence. And I can plug him into criminal stories. I can plug him into national security style stories. He's very flexible, and he is a joy to write.
I know, but what's so fascinating to me, the book is so detailed, I thought, Daniel must know something about art restoration. He must be an artist himself. He also, the way you write about food, I'm literally drooling as I'm reading that. And then you take his spy background. I just think, is he you, Daniel?
Is he me?
Are you an art? Do you know? Are you an artist? Are you?
I am an art lover.
An art lover.
I am a failed, awful artist. I am insanely crazy about art. I put a lot of work into the art.
You do a lot of homework about it? Is that one?
This book deals with Leonardo da Vinci and the newly discovered Leonardo da Vinci. I spend hours and hours and hours working on it, and then I have very smart people looking over my shoulder to make sure that I don't make any mistakes, because Gabriel Allon, he's a fictitious character, but he's an important figure in the art world, and everyone in the art world reads these books.
And the book takes so many twists and turns. The Pope is involved.
Yes, he is. It is set...
The Pope, Daniel, the Pope. Oh, man.
I have a pope in this book that bears a striking resemblance to the late Pope Francis, who I admired greatly. And it deals with some real-life Vatican financial intrigue. That it's a little bit of a romantic lay, as we say. I borrowed from real life for this story.
It's so interesting hearing you talk about the character, because you use the grammar as though the character is a real human that you are interviewing, as opposed to imagining onto the page. I guess that's the work of being an author. But you also are dealing with real life, and you've got this shocking twist in this book, as you do in all your books. I'm curious, do you have the twist at the beginning, you know what you're writing toward, or does it occur to you as you're working?
When I start a novel, I've never been able to successfully outline a novel. So I want to know about 80 to 90 pages, just somewhere in there, and get going. And as I've said before, I write the book sentence by sentence by sentence by sentence. I push forward, I go back and make any changes that I need to make, and that's how I do it. Wow. I did know the ending of this pretty early. And what I was building toward, and that informed the way I structured the novel. It does have a very shocking ending.
It really does. I would like to see a Daniel Silva movie. How about you?
Yes.
This just lends itself to movies.
The problem was we have not been able to find the perfect actor.
Gayle, you have some thoughts?
I said Pedro Pascal.
It's a toss-up between these two right here. I'm not sure, but
I'm going to stick with Pedro.
I can't
wait for the movie.
It's so good.
This book's so good. You're amazing. Daniel Silva, thank you very much. An Inside Job goes on sale tomorrow.
Bestseller number what? Bestseller number what?
28, right? We're back, CBS Mornings Plus. Are you in the market for a new summer read? Because we've got something you're definitely going to like. Daniel Silva, the award-winning, best-selling author of 27 novels, including his series featuring the legendary art restorer and spy Gabriel Allon. Well, now Allon is back in Silva's new thriller. It's called An Inside Job, a story involving the Vatican, stolen treasure, and murder. And Daniel Silva joins us now. Thank you very much for being here.
Good morning. Good morning.
Congratulations on the 25th Gabriel Allon novel. That is quite a milestone.
You know what? It's more interesting in that he was never supposed to be a continuing character. When I created this character, he was supposed to appear in one book and one book only. I was advised by my publishing team at the time to write another one. I told them that was the dumbest idea I'd ever heard. You know, an art restorer and spy for a continuing character. They said, "You're wrong. He's a great character. He's got it all. Write another one." So I wrote another one. It did better than the first one. I wrote the third one. It did even better. And at that point, I knew I had a series on my hand.
Yeah, the business person in me understands where your publisher is coming from, because this is a whole franchise now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, it does help to have the iconic character. I mean, I have to say, when I got into this business, I didn't necessarily think of myself as a series author. I thought I was going to write one-offs, as we call them, but it does make the business a lot easier if you have a character that people fall in love with. They know what they're getting every year.
You know, there's a musicality to your writing. We were talking about it in the earlier hour. It's not just plot driven. And in fact, you work sentence to sentence, you said, not on the overall structure first. That's such a fascinating way to get into it.
When I start a book, and we were talking with one of your members of your crew backstage, you know, how to structure a book, how to write a book, how do you do it, basically. I have never been able to successfully outline a novel. I've tried it a couple of times, but the final product looked nothing like what I do. So I like to know enough to get started, and then I get going as quickly as I can. I can't bring it to life on 3x5 cards. I've got to start writing. And I like to think of my first draft, basically, as a very long outline. And then I sit with my wife, and we go through it by sentence, word by word, and we pick out what stays in and what goes out. And it's really best to sort of edit down at that stage rather than trying to edit up.
So I was reading this over the weekend, and one of the things that I loved about it is just the world building. The descriptions are so rich. You really take your time. I felt like I was going along with Gabriel to all of these cafes, but there's also a scandal at the heart of this.
Yes.
And the story was inspired by something that happened at the Vatican.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
In September 2020, the Vatican released this very brief, mysterious bollettino, as they call them, announcing that this very incredibly powerful, influential senior cardinal had just been given the boot, basically, and with no explanation as to why. And it emerged later that he had been involved in a failed real estate deal that cost the Vatican hundreds of millions of dollars and enriched his business partners. And that cardinal was eventually convicted. It was the first in Vatican history of a cardinal being convicted by a tribunal for embezzlement and fraud. I said, I've got to use this for a story, and that's the basis of this story, and the title, An Inside Job.
That cardinal, who may or may not read this book, is appealing that conviction.
He is appealing. He is appealing.
Might write you a fan letter. But so how long does it take you to work through these? Because, you know, in the acknowledgement section, you thank so many academics and scholars and journalists who worked on the nonfiction component that then is the fuel underneath your storytelling.
Yes. So I guess it's, you know, how long does it take you to write a book?
Yeah, what's...
And how long do I have to write a book, actually? Two different things. Two different
Same
things.
with scripts with
And
us.
so I really have about 5 to 6 months with my schedule to get a book done. And so I had to teach myself how to write a book that quickly. I mean, this is not a little book. It's, you know, more than 100,000 words. And so I had to train myself how to do it on that you know, very tight schedule.
Wow.
And I drive my publishing team crazy because I work through every single draft, all the way through, you know, 3 drafts of galleys. I edit until the very last minute at 2 p.m. on the last day. We cut it off, and that's it.
And you write everything by hand, too.
I do write in longhand.
Yeah.
I write in longhand. I'm old school about that. For me, it just helps the process.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, the results, can't argue with those. Daniel Silva, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me,
Appreciate it.
guys.
An
Thank
Inside
you.
Job is the book, the 25th Gabriel Allon novel. It goes on sale tomorrow.